Whispers. How are you all doing? Well, how are you doing? Good. That's good. Or bad. I originally said in my last video that I was going to do a soft-spoken video. It's not actually going to be, so it'll just be a whisper. But this will probably come as a surprise to someone called SOUNDsculptures. They sent me some questions that I could answer in a video, because I said I was running out of ideas, so she kindly sent through some questions for me to answer. So I decided I'll do that in this video. Oh, and by the way, go and check out her channel because she does amazing videos. They're of sounds of different things, like what she do, like origami making and unboxing things. Yeah, making lots of things. They're really good. The quality is really awesome. So go check out SOUNDsculptures. I'll put the link to her channel in the do forwards it in the description below. So let's begin. First question. What was your favourite childhood memory? I'll go back to when I was 5 years old, and it was my first day of school. Now I know for some of you that would be hard to believe, the first day of school being a favourite childhood memory, but I remember turning up to school, my first day. My mum walked me there, and I arrived, and I don't know, just meeting all the new kids. It was really exciting. I do remember one or two other of the kids who were absolutely terrified. They were kicking and screaming and didn't want to let go of their mothers. But I was really happy to be there. I made friends on that first day that I'm still best friends with today, which is really cool. So, yeah, we got along really well, and I remember one thing quite vividly is our teacher had a big sunflower in the room, like a really tall sunflower that she had grown. So each one of us got a picture taken next to the sunflower that was much taller than us. It was probably nearly twice as tall. Now I've still got that picture somewhere of my first day at school next to this big bright yellow sunflower. So that was that memory. There's one other very important memory in my life. This was not so much to do with my childhood. This was a bit more recent, when I was about 15. I was in a drama performance. I was in many, but this one stood out the most. I was always like the quieter kid in a bunch of people. Like, I would prefer to listen rather than talk. So people always saw me as like the quieter one or the shy one, which is not really true. But as soon as I got onto a stage and acted, I was completely different. Like, I just burst out of this bubble that people thought I was in. It's quite funny to see people's reaction to that. But this particular performance, I engaged the crowd so much that I had them in fits of laughter. It's quite hard to describe because it's an unusual feeling to have it must have been about 300 people in one room laughing at you. With me, not at me. That was a great feeling. Something that I was doing was entertaining so many people. So yeah, that was another memory. Second question. What's a place that makes you really happy to go to? I would say it would be our favourite family holiday spot, which we go to every now and then, every few years really. It's where my dad grew up. His family owned a hot springs holiday park. So my family went there when me and my siblings were growing up, and other family friends joined us and stuff, and we just sort of camped there. And they had these great big hot pools that we used to have to ourselves, and we'd just swim all day. Yeah, it was great. We could walk up the mountain and look at the hot springs and see all the steam coming out. It smelled like rotten eggs sometimes. But it's a great place to go to. And my sister is coming home from Australia with my nephew next weekend. So we've decided all the family might go there again and just hang out and have a good time. So that should be fun. Number 3. What's the best holiday you ever had? This would be when my family and I went to a place called Norfolk Island, and that's a place, it's about halfway between New Zealand and Australia. It's about an hour and a half flight from New Zealand. But this was my first trip overseas. My first overseas holiday, so it was a new experience. I was probably about, I think I was about 7. So yeah, we took part in all the tourist activities on the island. It's a very small island. There's only about 5,000 people that live on the island, I think. I'm not sure. But you get a lot of Australian and New Zealand tourists that meet there. So a lot of the activities, well, some of the activities that we did required you to team up, I suppose, with some of the Australians. So the Kiwis and the Aussies got together. So instead of competing against each other, we did things that required us to work together, and that was really, really enjoyable. I remember I had to become friends with an Australian lady, so we just had to introduce ourselves and stuff. And I was just this little boy, so she was pinching my cheeks and rubbing my head and saying, "Oh, you're so cute." But anyway, that was a really fun holiday. Yeah, I'll never forget that one. Can you hear the rain? It's really loud. Number 4, your dream job and why. My dream job would be to work on a film, on a big Hollywood film. I don't know if I'm dreaming or not. I think it's quite a reality. I would love that. Not necessarily direct a big blockbuster film. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know if I could handle that. But I'd love to be a part of something like that. To be a part of something that millions of people would watch and enjoy. I think that would be really rewarding. Okay, question number 5. Your favourite people in your life. Why and where you met them. My most favourite person in the whole wide world would be Jesus. Now don't turn off just because I pulled out the J card. But this guy knew me before I was born, and I think that's pretty cool. And then next to him, I would say my brother would be the favourite person in my life. Why? Because we get along so well. We get each other. We've got very quirky sense of humours. We've got the same sense of humour, and even though we had our typical brotherly fights and stuff, it was all in love. So part of that question was where you met them. Well, I met him at a very early age, and then we just sort of bonded from there. Number 6, your favourite book and author. I don't really read books. The only books I read was when I was just young, really. But the ones I did enjoy reading were books by Roald Dahl. So, Matilda, James and the Giant Peach. Boy, that was one of my favourites. Yeah, anyway. Oh, The Witches. That was good too. Oh, the BFG. That was another good one. But I really should read some more. It'd make me a lot smarter, I think. So they say. Question number 7. What's your favourite film? Now there's a question I can answer a bit better. I don't really have a particular favourite film, but I have many favourite films. Some of them I have mentioned in other videos before. But I'm a huge fan of Buster Keaton, who was a silent film actor and director. But I would say he influenced the way in which comedy is played out in films. This guy was amazing, doing his own stunts and stuff. I just bought 3 more of his films a couple of days ago. So, yeah, I was really excited to find those, because they're not that easy to come by. I also love The Lord of the Rings. Again, those are probably books I should have read too. But it reminds me, sort of going back to previous question about my dream job. I really wanted to be in The Hobbit, which is the prequel to the Lord of the Rings movies, because they're being filmed in New Zealand by Peter Jackson, who also I would love to work with. Yeah, I think I might have miss my chance to be a part of that. But there will be others, and they'll go on for years, so there should be a lot more opportunities there. I'd love to be in those movies, it would be so cool. But other films I like sort of the classics. I'm enjoying Alfred Hitchcock's movies. Some brilliant movies there. I saw The King's Speech the other night. That was really good. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth a watch. There's one part in it that absolutely made me crack up. I won't ruin it, obviously. But there's a part where Colin Firth shouts out all these profanities. I wasn't expecting it at all, and it was so funny. Anyway, question number 8. What are you skilled in? This question's kind of tough to answer because I don't want to overstate anything. But, like I mentioned before, I enjoy acting and being in front of people. I would say I'm good at it, but I don't like jump around saying, oh look at me or anything. I'm not an attention seeker or anything. Quite the opposite. But because I think I'm reasonably good at it, I don't mind doing it. So, other skills would be I really enjoy creating things. So just coming up with ideas for, say, short films and TV shows and stuff that I put into action and get people together and just make something out of nothing. That's really good, and just enjoying the end result. It's always good to look back at what you created and be proud of it and stuff, and showcase it. Question number 9. If you could go back in time, what period and why? Well, with a reference to another previous question, I would say the early stages of cinema, when it was being developed and people were experimenting with it because it was this new exciting thing. So I would have loved to have been back in about the 1920s when people like Buster Keaton, as I mentioned before, were sort of finding their feet and discovering what they could do with film. And just watching people's reaction to this new thing that was being put in front of them. And then stuff like the invention of sound into films. That would have been really exciting. I would love to have been in there, just the early days of cinema. It would have been so much more exciting than today. I mean, sure, it's very exciting now with everything we can do. But back then would have been too hot to handle. And the last question, what do you like and dislike about New Zealand? Well, I like the fact that we are so isolated from everywhere else. Well, it's a good and a bad thing. Good that people just sort of leave us alone if we don't want to be involved with something. But bad that if we want to go somewhere, it takes so expensive to get out of here. But you know, it's not that bad really. I also like the how unpopulated we are really. A country of only 4.5 million people, where you could meet someone and somehow you could be connected with someone else you know. It's a thing called 2 degrees of separation, where you could know someone that knows someone you know, if that makes any sense. I also love how you only have to drive about 20 to 30 minutes to get to a beach. A beach is a huge part of being a Kiwi. Without it, we wouldn't survive. I also love the Kiwi way of doing things and getting stuff done. We sort of think things simply down here. Sort of, we've got the mindset that, oh, you know, it's something a bit of sticking tape won't fix, or a laugh and the pat on the back won't help. Yeah, it's just like a sense of togetherness here. Things I dislike. That's a really hard question, because there's hardly anything I could say that I dislike about this country. Dislike. If I could say anything that I disliked, I would say perhaps we're a little bit limited sometimes. Say like job-wise, you might have to go overseas to further your career or find jobs that aren't available in New Zealand. But I mean, that's not really true. It isn't, and it isn't, but yeah, that's really all I can think of. I love this place too much. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't be anywhere else. So yeah, that's the questions answered. I hope I did them justice, SOUNDsculptures. But that is it for now, and I will speak to you all in about a week, and now I'll fade you out to soothing sounds of the rain outside.